It doesn't matter whether it's the wealthy barber, the rich dad, poor dad. They all come back down to the same things, which are to live within your means,
Yes.
save some for the future.
The sun will shine again. Better days coming on the horizon. The rain will finally end. Clouds disappearing. Tomorrow's your
Hello and welcome to the Sweet Spot. Oh my goodness, honey, we are so excited today, aren't we?
I get a kick out of you when you intro the program because I love that. Hello, it's this long extended. Hello, I love it.
Yes. Yeah, you know, I think it's from the sports thing announcing. Ah!
I love it, babe. No, it's awesome. It's awesome, and it is amazing to be in the Sweet Spot.
It is amazing to be a
Yes.
Sweet Spot, and it's
Yes.
more amazing because you are here with us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so because
Absolutely. Thank you for tuning
yes,
in.
if you're not here, it's not quite as cozy. Yeah, so we want to thank you so much, and we have a very, 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 very special guest. If you tuned in last week, you already know him or have are cognizant of him at some level. His name is Steve Renault, and his claim to fame is retiring before 40. Yeah, so
Yes.
we talked about it a little bit last week, but to refresh you a little bit and to inform others, he
Absolutely.
retired at the week before his 40th birthday, and refers to it as middle retirement. We'll get to that a little bit later, but retired before 40 and did this after having a wonderful career, starting
Amazing
from,
career.
Yeah, so right from the trading floor, right on up to leading several teams that had national acclaim over a couple of almost 2 decades.
yeah,
Almost
it was
two.
yeah.
Yes. Almost got the 2 decades.
That's right.
Yeah. But then you retire.
That's right.
And so, honey, that's where we want to start. Right?
Absolutely,
We want to
absolutely.
start here at retirement, and now he has his bride, right, and 3 boys, right.
Got three young boys. Total,
Yeah, so 3 young boys at home, right?
Yes.
So I'll let you, but 3 young
it's
boys at home,
Yep.
and then 2 older kids.
That's right.
So the young boys are at home, and you, well, maybe I'll say more, your wife, right? Yes.
That's fair.
Yes.
That's fair. Yeah.
Decided that you're going to homeschool the kids.
Again, don't give me any credit for that.
Yes. Now you
that's
say it again. Were the older ones homeschooled as well?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. So we had two in high school, and 3 boys under 3.
3
time.
under 3.
3 under 3.
Wow.
97, 98, and 2000.
Wow.
So
And
the
so
older
the-
ones were still at home. Yeah.
Oh,
so
yes.
okay.
Oh, they
very
were at
good.
home. Oh, yes.
Okay. Good.
They were at home in
My.
high school. And about 3 years later, so we decided at that time I retired, and the kids were young. They weren't in school at that point. But it was about 2.5, 3 years later, we sat down and thought, the 2 kids are heading off to school,
Right.
and we've got these 3 young boys. What do you say we do something different for a year? So we ended up renting our house out for a year in Calgary, buying a trailer,
Wow.
and we went around North America for the year.
Wow.
And we left Calgary, went to Vancouver. We the kids headed off, one to Florida to go to school. One of them was going on a boat called Class Afloat.
Okay.
And,
Yes.
my daughter for grade 11, which meant she went around the Pacific Ocean for the entire year, for the 8 months. And got her
Doing what?
doing school. So it's a big sailboat.
Right.
So they go to they left from Vancouver and headed to Hawaii, down to the
Wow.
South Pacific. They went to 20 different countries,
Wow.
educating on sea life, but mainly on different cultures. Different.
That's amazing.
All different people.
Wow.
and what life's like out there.
Wow.
And she actually got a credit for this.
Yes,
This is
so
after
she got her
school.
grade. Yes, so we're about 10 staff,
Wow.
teachers, 10 crew who would look after the boat. Although this is not a cruise ship, this is a working boat.
Wow.
They would have watches at 2:00 in the morning and be in school at 8:30.
Okay.
And after
goodness.
making breakfast and cleaning up breakfast and oh, it's
Really?
hard work. It's hard work.
Okay.
These kids have watches at night, during the day, and but when they leave, they've got friends that you know they
For a
have
lifetime.
for life.
So when
Follow.
when you say a watch, what are they doing at the watch?
At you know, they're making sure that there's somebody on the helm, like watching the steering. There's people up front watching to make sure there's nothing ahead. And there's about 5 or 6 on a watch, and they've got to spend the 2 hours and
Wow.
make sure everything's okay while everyone else is sleeping.
Yes.
And then head right back down to try and get an hour or two sleep before they got to get up for breakfast.
Wow.
So
That's amazing.
it's a really neat experience.
Okay. That's amazing.
That's
That's amazing.
And so then I was with them leaving. We started to travel, and we ended up at our place down in Florida eventually for a few months. And it was tough getting out of Oregon and upstate California. They're so beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
And it took me a little while, but I think it took my wife a little bit longer to get used to being in a trailer.
Okay,
Instead
right.
of a 6,000 square
Yes,
foot
yes.
house. A little bit different.
I'd say.
And yeah, she found that tough, but then she loved it. And just the freedom, spending time, talking to people. So when I say I retired at 40, when I was down in Florida, it happened to be the Stanley Cup Championships between Calgary and Tampa.
Wow. Timing.
So I did go back and forth a few times and got convinced to go back for a year.
Okay.
So I did go back for 1 year.
Okay.
And I think it was after day number 4 that the kids, my wife and myself said, do we really have to do this again? Can we not get back in the trailer and head out? So I did stay for a year, and then that's when we decided to take it a step further
Okay.
and decided to, the oldest one was heading into kindergarten.
Oh, wow.
And so we thought, well, we can do this. For kindergarten, I think I can teach that.
Okay.
And so we decided to homeschool the kids and travel.
Wow.
That's awesome.
So when you say homeschool the kids and travel, right? So this is no longer a school afloat,
That's
right?
right.
So now this is the family
This is-
traveling as a unit. Now, and this time were you still sort of doing the camper trip, or
No,
what was
that
so?
was the end of the trailer. In fact, it's still in our backyard.
Okay.
However, I
Oh
think
my
it's been
goodness.
used for about 3 days.
Yes.
It doesn't get used very often. But now it was traveling to different continents.
Okay.
So our first one
Wow.
was
So that wasn't different countries. That's different continents, right?
Continents,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm with
yeah,
you. Yes.
yeah. So we did go to, I believe, Europe first, and spent about 4 or 5 months there while homeschooling. And so that meant my wife did the English, sciences. I did what I considered a little bit easier, which was geography, history, and math. And so a big part of their schooling over these homeschool years, which, by the way, they did for 2 of the boys right through to grade 11, and the other one to grade 8.
That's a
And,
commitment.
Yeah, it turned into a lot of years.
Yes.
We thought it was 1 year, but it turned into a lot of years.
Goodness.
And so it was those. I was very interested in having them learn different cultures, geography and history, not so much in memorizing dates or where things were or numbers of people, but who those people are, what and accepting other cultures.
Remember an interesting experience while you were at travel?
I think one of the ones that always comes up to me is the youngest Levi, who's always our are one that people remember.
Yes.
And we were in China, and he's probably 7 years old, and on a train, and I must admit there was it was a packed train,
Right.
and I would have to say, and I probably shouldn't say this, but a very grumpy old man sitting there and just kind of scouring at us because we were taking up their space.
Right.
And Levi just kept smiling at him, waving to him. And after about a 10-minute ride, this guy was looking at him, smiling, and basically communicating with him
Wow.
in a way that only Levi and this man could do. And he connected with him.
Aww.
And it was, it taught us a pretty important lesson. That maybe he was having a bad day.
Right.
Maybe he just wasn't happy. But this little one helped make him happy.
Right. That's
And
right.
made his day. And so those are the sort of interactions.
There's a saying about us, all of us have different languages, but the one language we have in common is a smile.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's a perfect example.
Yeah. And he knows how to smile.
Wow. What we do matters, doesn't it? Right.
Yeah,
Sometimes
absolutely.
we think we can't make an impact.
Right.
They won't change them. They'll just grumpy old man or.
Well, it's almost like driving in the car and somebody cuts you off or does something wrong. You think that they're an idiot. However, if you do it by accident, it's just
Exactly,
an
right?
accident.
Yes.
It's not a big deal. That's
Exactly,
not who I
right?
am.
That's right. That's
And we've got to accept and then be gracious with that.
What a lesson. What a lesson.
so you traveled 3 continents, right?
We did all but Antarctic, and we were almost there,
Oh,
but we
wow.
decided not to.
okay. So you exceeded the 3.
So
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
So each year and a half, we would go for 3 to 4 months.
Okay.
And this was not 5-star hotels. We would stay in a few nice ones here and there, but this was backpacking.
Okay.
And when the boys were really young, maybe 6, 7, and 9, we would tell them at the beginning of the trip, look, there might be times when we're stuck at a train station for 3 days. You're hungry. We've got no place to live, and it might be tough. And they still wish that it happened. Yeah, it never did. But they were so excited with the thought that they would be
Right.
stuck somewhere.
Oh my
And I wasn't, but they were. And we always made it. And it didn't matter what language. I wish I could speak other languages. But we found, people are open, they're giving. And in fact, it was those areas we went into, and we did go into some areas that most people would consider we probably shouldn't have, that they were tougher areas.
Right.
But I would have to say that the people who treated us the best
We're in those
and
areas.
We're in those
offered the
areas.
most
Wow.
were those
Wow.
people.
Wow.
It was the ones, it was the tough places, and we would doubt sometimes. It would be dark at night, and we would need help getting somewhere, and then be leery that they're probably not taking us where we want to go. Every single time, they were doing it.
Wow.
And that was a great lesson, I think, for all of us, that, you have to be careful, however, trust.
Right. Man, I'm writing this down. The ones who had the least, right, treated you the best and offered you the most.
Yep. Absolutely.
And then
They
and then
had time, they spent time, they were willing to.
that's extraordinary.
Even though we were foreign to them, and
So-
they're very giving.
So with the boys, actually, you say the boys wanting to have that time where they're stranded. You have that, be stranded somewhere. Those are boys. My
Absolutely.
girls, not
That's
a chance.
right.
Yes,
That's
yes,
right.
yes.
Had to be boys. I'm telling you.
absolutely.
Had to be boys.
Yeah.
Would they say they had a favorite place?
I would
it different
say,
for
well, there's a
everybody?
few of them. I would say Vietnam, they really,
Okay.
really enjoyed. We didn't do the typical touristy places. So when we went to the Wall of China, we were, about 200 miles away from Beijing. We went a long way away to, it was more remote, but very unique. And
Wow.
Lao.
Okay.
Lao
yes.
was probably one of our favorites.
Wow.
And we went horseback riding for it took about 8 hours to get from this small little village along paths. And when we hear our parents say that they used to walk uphill to school
Right.
in the snow
Yes.
the
Both
whole
ways,
way,
yes.
both ways.
Yes.
These kids have, it does snow up there in the winter, the odd time. Not very often, but it does get cold at night in the mountains. We were staying in a small hut for a couple of nights with families who had nothing, and it was a good 12-hour walk, 8 to 12-hour walk to where they could get supplies. And they were walking barefoot to school on broken glass on these paths. They had nothing,
Wow.
but they opened up to us completely
Wow.
and were amazing. We couldn't talk in the language, but yet we communicated. And they showed us
That's
around. And that
amazing.
was very, very exciting.
That's powerful.
So that was a great one.
Yes.
We really
That's
enjoyed
powerful.
that.
Yes. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, many favorites.
My,
I could imagine
Yes.
after traveling the world like that, you have to have many favorites.
Yeah. So this experience traveling around the world led you to something.
Yeah,
epiphany.
and I would say it was a lot of time when we were here. Like I said, we'd be 3 or 4 months every 2 years. So it was talking to people in other countries, but it was traveling and having that time to reflect and that time to figure out where do you want to go, what are you doing, what are you doing for society, for everyone. And it was talking to friends, family, and people I'd meet constantly that I started to realize, because they would ask, what did I do?
Right.
I'd say I was in the stock market, and so they would ask me about their investments and about this and that. And I came to realize that they were probably in the same position I was when I was 20 years old. They knew nothing about their investments.
Right.
Didn't understand it. And, I felt overwhelmed that I had some information and experience that people wanted
Needed to
to
know,
hear
yeah.
and needed to know and to help them. And so as it grew more and more, I thought, okay, I've got to do something. And it was actually during a bike ride with some friends near New Orleans that a friend of ours said, Steve, you've got to write a book about your story.
Right.
And so I wouldn't say I totally wrote it. I have a wife named Lisa, who was a very large part of that. So we wrote it together.
Yes.
And it was called Midlife Crisis Retirement, because we took the midlife retirement rather than having a crisis.
Right.
And
Wow.
middle retirement can mean anything to anybody. It can be a day off. It can be a weekend away. It can be just time to reflect and to stop and to think, where am I
love
going?
that. I
Where are
love
we
that
doing?
idea.
And people have different jobs in their life, and it's good to look and see where you are, not only in your work life, but in
Right.
your faith and your where you're going. Where do you want to go?
Right.
And so we wrote that book, and it was great. I've done some speaking on that and really enjoyed it. But then I felt it wasn't enough still. I still want to reach out further. So that's when I started my company, Middle Retirement, which is coaching, financial coaching.
Yes.
And so the whole idea is to help people to, more about coaching than I do.
Well,
However,
I'm not
coaching-
sure about that.
Coaching is I believe what I'm doing is helping people to, my 3 core values are understand what you own, reduce risk, and avoid, and reduce fees and avoid risk.
Okay.
And that is what all the legs stand on.
Okay.
And,
Okay.
and the most important being understand what you own.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
All right.
So understand what you own. Reduce fees Right. And avoid risk. Yes.
Correct.
Mitigate risk. Yes.
Correct. And if
Okay.
you do all of those, you're probably going to do well. And like I said before, it's the behavioral management side is why you need a coach.
So if you don't mind, we want to just rephrase the two-step, those important points, the two mistakes that people make.
Well, every financial book has basically two underlying fundamental messages.
Right.
And it doesn't matter whether it's the wealthy barber,
Right.
the rich dad, poor dad. They all come back down to the same things,
Right.
which are to live within your means
Yes.
and save some for the future.
Yes.
Say that one more time.
And especially, and this is, it's amazing how we are taught in school how to get an education, how to get a job, how to earn money,
Right.
but they forgot to tell us what to do with it.
That's right.
We missed that. And I know we're
That's right.
getting into the financial literacy, but I still don't feel that one course in grade 7 or grade
That's
11
right.
is enough. It
That's
has to be
right.
from the beginning. It has to be ingrained
I agree.
as to
Yes.
how to look after your money.
Yes.
And so again, so that you can, I'll repeat it, so that you
Please.
can,
Please.
so that you can live within your means, and so that you can save some for the future.
That's so important. That is.
It is, and if we do that, there's health issues. According to the World Health Organization, mental health is the #1 pandemic of the 21st century, and we've started to do some work. I don't think we've done enough yet.
Right.
It's suicide, depression. The biggest cause of these
Yes.
comes down to, according to every study, shows that it's financial issues. And stress about that, trying to keep up with the Joneses, trying to pay your bills.
Right.
And the answer to that is understanding what you own, understanding what you make,
Yeah.
and being careful with it, being
And-
good stewards of that,
Right.
of what you've got.
That's right. I know Michael preaches to me all the time. He says the same thing all the time to me when I tend to, when you want to get out of hand, right?
That's right.
He's like, we have to live within our means, babe.
No.
Constantly.
Live
Below. Actually,
Below.
he says below.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
Yes.
He
Because then
says
we got a
have-
chance to live within
That's
it.
right.
Absolutely.
He says
Say
we
below.
have
That's
to
right.
live below our means. He tells me
Absolutely.
that all the time to keep me, He's like, nope, gotta
That
live
is
below
rule
our
one.
means.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
And it's not hard to not do that. It's easier not to do that.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
Because
it
the
is,
banks don't
yes.
mind loaning you money.
Of course, right?
Yeah.
Yes, they'll tell you
Wow.
too. They'll say,
Absolutely.
Hey, how
Yeah.
about a line of
Buy it.
credit for
How
How
I
much
do
do
that.
you want?
Yes. Can we increase your credit
right.
card? And they kept increasing it until the point I said, okay, stop it there.
That's right.
Yeah, you have to cut them
Because
off, right?
they were just increasing it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It was like, okay, right there, stop.
Because they know
yes.
what you're going to do. You're going to keep using
Accepting it.
Exactly.
right? So,
And that's where my experience in the market over all those years and speaking to people, there's it's trying to help people without the conflict of interest. The investment industry, the banking industry,
Right.
just like any other industry, they're running a business.
right, that's
Yes.
right.
But there is a conflict of advising people when you're selling, no matter what product that is, whether it's
Yeah, it's
a
true.
car, whether it doesn't matter.
That's true.
And that's why when you can stand back, when you're looking at cars, go home, think about it, talk to friends, do your research, and then go back.
Yes.
Right.
Because everyone who's selling is, to a certain degree, conflicted between your interests and theirs.
Right.
And that's why I like the
So
coaching,
true.
Yes.
is that I can remove a lot of that. Because the terminology is difficult. And one of the issues, I keep wanting to go back to credit cards, because even though I talk, my experience in the stock market,
Right.
it's those credit cards that
Yeah.
are the issue
Yeah.
for these younger people.
Right.
And, my niece, a couple of years ago, I told her to make sure she gets rid of that credit card. And so about a year later, I said, how are you doing with that? And she said, oh, I'm good. She she said, I've just got, about $3,000 on my credit card, but it's a low interest credit card. I said, oh, good. I said, do you have the cash in the bank or anything? And she said, yeah, I've got, about $5,000 in my high interest savings account. I said, okay, that makes sense, right? You've got debt in a low interest and you've got an asset in a high interest. I said, what do you say we take that one step further? Let's see what those rates are.
Yes.
And it turns out that the low interest credit card was 19%, and the high interest
gosh.
savings was 0.7.
Oh my goodness, 0.7 high interest.
Now that was 2 years
savings.
ago. Yep.
Oh my God.
Because the regular one is 0.3
Oh my
at
God.
the time. So my point is the terminology
Yes.
was, to me, a little misleading.
Yes.
And that young person who thinks they're doing the right
That's
thing
right.
Right.
That's right.
is not. And that's not fair.
That's right.
I don't think that person should be fooled by low interest, high interest without truly having some guidance on it.
And I know that's
So-
what happened to me in university. They actually used to offer all the students on campus a credit card.
Right.
And of course, I bought into
That's
that.
right.
A credit
Yeah,
card?
yeah.
Oh, yes, sure, because I worked at a bank before going off to school. So I
Okay.
kind of knew a little bit about
Right.
banking and credit cards and everything. So I was like, oh, yeah, sure. I'm going to get my credit card. Got that credit card, and oh, boy, because when you're in school, you're poor, right?
Absolutely.
So I started using that credit card, and by the time I left school, I had a balance that I could not pay. I was in so much debt. I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do?
And
Right?
it
And
takes
it took me years
And you were probably
to
stressed.
pay that credit card
You were
off.
worried about it, you were
Yeah,
stressed, and it gets in the
absolutely.
way of your life.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
so-
totally no.
Yes. 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 Yeah, we made it together though.
We made it
right.
together.
You
That's
did.
right. We made it together.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So unfortunately, our time is totally gone. But what I would like to do, maybe just very quickly, is have us just kind of tell us about your church down in Florida, right? And your involvement there, and your kids also doing some work.
Oh, we've got, we bought a house in Florida in 2003 and started to go there a little more often. And, as usual, being a preacher's kid, I'm not usually too satisfied with any churches I go
Yes,
to. I have
yes.
to, I've got my father's,
Yeah.
Yes. Gotta live up to
living
yes.
up to those
Yes,
expectations
absolutely,
is difficult.
absolutely.
And we're very fortunate down there. We found getting on our bikes, going down to a church that's close by. In fact, they called us the Von Trapp family.
Okay.
Riding our bikes to church.
Yes.
And but it was an amazing, and it is still a very amazing church group of people, very focused on mission work, very focused on kids and young adults. And so not only was I on, and my wife on very many committees, still are today, but our kids were
Involved.
could not wait for Sunday night.
Yeah.
Could not wait for their mission trips. They were in. They've gone to California, Costa Rica, Turkey, always working. And in fact, all three of my boys get frustrated if there's not enough work. They want to work the whole time. They want to work for the 12
That's
hours because they
beautiful.
enjoy that.
That's
Right.
beautiful.
And that's helping with older people, with kids, with everything. And I think it's, I really think that has given them a grounding that, being 18 or 20, maybe not yet, but they do have it.
Absolutely.
And I believe the giving back portion, the wanting to give, and seeing how that makes them better people and
Yes.
feel better about themselves.
Right.
Very good.
And so there's, the church in Florida has been amazing for us, and we enjoy being a part of it. In fact, we don't like to miss anything down there.
That's awesome. That's beautiful.
So if I may add, your oldest son works with you now.
My oldest son does work with me now,
And,
full
and-
time.
yes,
Wow.
and your daughter is doing well out in Calgary, and
She
family has found a church home out in Calgary.
That is correct. Yeah,
Beautiful.
and girls, the biggest excitement for them now for the week is getting to church on Sunday.
Wow.
They
That's
love
awesome, man.
They love it.
You've done a
And,
tremendous job with your kids.
Thank you, and
That's
I'd
beautiful.
Say my my
that's
wife
beautiful.
is a very large part of that.
Yeah, Lisa
Well, I'm
is
sure
a-
it takes both of you for sure.
It does.
Absolutely.
It does take a village.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And yeah, being surrounded by
Yeah.
like people.
You know, the nice thing is I know Lisa, and she would actually say the same thing about you. So
Yes,
that's pretty cool.
yes. 100%. That's awesome. Well, this has been fantastic. Thank you for sharing your story, and thank you for giving us great financial advice.
Oh, that's
Lots of wisdom.
It's been
So many.
amazing. And, you know, to our viewers and listeners, I'm sure that they've learned so much. And we want to encourage them to pick up your book.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
if
It's
well,
on Amazon.
Amazon,
Yep,
there
it's
we
on
go.
Amazon, Canada
if
and the
you're-
States.
Okay, so
Yep.
if you want to purchase Steve Renault's book, please go on Amazon, purchase his book. The name of the book again is called Midlife Crisis Retirement. Midlife Crisis Retirement. And I'm sure you will learn much about finance, and not just for yourselves, but for your kids as well, because it's important that we teach our children
Absolutely.
about finance as well, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Beautiful.
So they don't repeat our mistakes.
That's right.
Exactly. So once again, Steve, thank you so much for joining us here in the Sweet Spot. It has been a sweet spot today with you here.
Thank you
So
very much. I
thank you.
appreciate the opportunity.
All right. Thank you so
And
much.
thank you guys for
everybody.
tuning
Thank
in. We hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful, blessed week. And we hope to see you back here in the Sweet Spot one more time.
Sunshine again.